Welcome to the Bowls.Web competition portal tutorial series. Today we're going through entering the results as the home Pennant team. It's the home team's responsibility to enter the results by 6:30 PM on the day of play. So we've already gone through the login procedures in a previous tutorial, and we've logged in as the club login as Cambridge, but remembering you can log in as an individual Pennant team, but we're logged in as Cambridge. We're looking for our season that we're looking for. We want the demo training season, which comes up. Sometimes the computer, when you go, will only show you one fixture. All the division colours are here, so if we went to gold, suddenly it would show you all the 5 gold fixtures that took place on that day. And if we went back to blue, for some reason it would now show you all the fixtures. We are Cambridge, obviously, as the home team, playing South Perth. The match is finished, so now we're going to enter the results. Click on the pencil on the right hand side, shows you enter results, and it takes you to the results screen. Before we enter the results, we do need to make sure that the links are aligned. Of course, when you get there, the teams are drawn to who plays each other, so the computer can't tell you who's going to do that, so we need to align the links. Sometimes we get lucky and they just line up naturally, but most times you'll have to move a team around. We can only, as Cambridge, can only access our Cambridge team, which is this team here. They're all our players. We can only move them. We cannot move the South Perth team here. Only South Perth can move those players. So we need to line the links. Well, you'll have the Pennant result sheet next to you. I'll put it on the screen. There it is. That's the Pennant result sheet that you should have next to you after the day's play. Make sure your teams are correct. And make sure there was no late changes. If there was a late change for you can go back to the members and you can click on the remove the player, whichever player that is. Once you do that, it'll come up over there. I'll remove Clive Adams, maybe he was a late out, and then you'll be allowed to scroll down and enter the player that you think, or that you know played instead of Clive Adams. However, Clive did play, so we'll re-enter him. So Clive Adams is back in the team, and he should have just filled in the spot that he came from. So if you have multiple players, you'll need to make sure that they all go into the right positions. So you can see by the sheet, the first team, Cambridge, is entered. The home team generally fills in the sheet first, so their teams are as they are on the sheet. But South Perth are entered at a later, before you start playing, when you're writing the cards out. So they're on the left. John Barlow played Dennis Bandy according to the sheet. According to the teams entered, he played Chris Brown, which is obviously incorrect. Dennis Bandy's team is in position 2, so we must drag and drop John Barlow and his whole team individually into their positions so they align with the team that they actually did play. So John Barlow did play Dennis Bandy according to the sheet, and there he is. Next on the sheet, Tony Bellos played Rodney Brooks, and if we look at our alignment, Tony Bellos is aligned with Chris Brown, so we need to move, drag and drop Tony Bellos opposite Rodney Brooks, along with his whole team. So now we have Tony Bellos, Rodney Brooks, and Neil Bolton is our last on our list, on the Pennant result sheet that is, and he's lined up against Chris Brown, which is correct. Before we move off the screen, and you've made sure the links are correct, you must save player positions. If you do not, they'll just return to where they were before you started. So save player positions. It shows up here, the green screen at the top, underneath the Cambridge versus South Perth, players successfully saved. Make sure you get that if you've moved players before you move on. So we go back to the match screen. So we're going to enter the results. And we see on the sheet, Cambridge won. So we push the Cambridge won by Cambridge. Obviously it was won by South Perth, we'd do that. If it was a draw, that's an aggregate draw. If it's an aggregate draw, we would do that one. If one of the teams forfeited, wash out, heat out. Generally, this won by Cambridge due to withdrawal will not, or South Perth will not be used. Administration will do that, so you won't have to worry about those two. It's just forfeits, wash out, heat out, draw, or winning by the club. In this case, Cambridge won the game. And of course, if we enter Team 1, unfortunately it doesn't show the skippers. If we enter the score here, and we entered the scores as they just go down the sheet, so we enter 15, 20, 18, 14, 19, 13. If we entered them as the sheet says, and we save those by going down, save results and scores. Again up here, results and scores successfully saved, just under at the top, and there's a submit button which we'll come to. So we've just gone off the sheet. However, if we go back to our teams and who played each other, Neil Bolton played Chris Brown in position 1, team 1 now, but according to the sheet, they are in position 3. So their score is not aligned correctly because we haven't aligned it, we've only gone off the sheet. So an easier way to go is you get your sheet, you see that Neil Bolton and Chris Brown are in position 1, and you write a big 1 in between them, and then Barlow and Bandy are in position 2, so you write a 2, and Bellos and Brooks is in position 3. So that, as you can see on the screen, highlighted in the green, that's their new position. So when we go to match, we delete these because they are incorrect. So we'll delete all of them. Now we go back to the screen that we've adjusted, and we can see that Bolton and Brown are in team 1, so that is the score that we put there. Barlow and Bandy are in position 2, so that is the score we put there. And Bellos and Brooks are in position 3, so that is the score we put there. Again, we must save results and scores, and results, scores saved successfully. So that now obviously looks nothing like the order that's on the Pennant result sheet, but it is the order that we've adjusted our teams to. So it's very important you adjust your rinks to match, and then you make sure you adjust the scores to match, because when it comes to the skipper ladder, some skippers will get very unhappy when they see that they've lost on the skipper ladder, but they've actually won just because you haven't aligned the scores and the teams correctly. So if you are looking, when we looked at the teams, we didn't actually go and make sure that all these were correct on the South Perth side. So if we look at Tony Bellos' team, they actually have, in the Rodney Brooks team, Mitchell Biglan playing in second position and Ross Breslin playing in the lead. If you look at your sheet, they actually are the other way around. So maybe they've made, either they've entered it incorrectly or they've made a late positional change. So we need to make sure South Perth know that they're not correct. So it's incumbent on the home team to not only get the scores right, but to make sure the right players play. If there's a late pull out on the South Perth team and they haven't adjusted it, it's just a good idea to let them know when we come to submit our teams and submit our scores, that you just make sure South Perth know that a player in there didn't play. Match, we're happy with all the scores, we're happy with the teams. We then go to the submit button. This is can be the most important part. If you don't push this submit button, the away team cannot confirm the results. So we submit. Are you sure you want to submit results as scores of South Perth for confirmation? Yes. In here we would then we could put in whatever comments. We can put in thank you for a good game, and also please make sure Bigland and Westland are in the correct positions before confirming results. Bigland says, thank you for your game. It's up to you what you put in here, but as long as you make sure that they know that there is an issue and they need to fix the issue before they confirm the results. We then would submit, and you would submit by sending an email. This doesn't have the email bit, but we would send an email. We would push submit by sending an email. I haven't attached the email to these two clubs, so we don't want to confuse them. South Perth would get an email to tell them to confirm their scores when they haven't played. So it comes here, results for this match have been successfully submitted. The away team will be required to confirm the results. And the away team has until 6:30 PM the next working day. So for a Thursday game, that is Friday. For a Tuesday game, that is Wednesday 6:30, and for a Saturday game, that is Monday 6:30. They must confirm the results by then. But they can't if you do not push the submit button. And that is the end of putting the scores in as the home team. If you have other competitions, fixtures you need to now enter results for, you go back to the competition, you're still logged in as Cambridge, and you would choose your next competition. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you have any questions, please contact the Bowls WA office.